Hi friends, I had to show off my long extravagant leopard print cardigan. Today we're going over my Sephora sale spring event recommendations. And you like another recommendations video, Alicia? Yes, I know. But first, if it's your first time here, hi, I'm Alicia. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. And if you are returning, well, thank you for visiting me again. Kinkysweat stands for my kinky hair and sweat life. I'm a fitness professional who loves things, all movement and beauty. If you want to check out what I do in between the makeup, you can head over to my Instagram. Before I roll into the recs and the demos and the la, in the words of Mother Teresa is dead, shop responsibly. Listen, I'm just sharing what I think you should have an eye on if you are in the mode, in the position to buy. If you've been waiting for the Sephora sale, if you have been planning for it, you've been saving for it, you're preparing the basket, okay? And all my links will be affiliated down below. Your consideration is always much appreciated, and I always want to make sure I present that because you by no means have to use my links. If you do, I do receive commission, and it does help the channel, you know, with the mic upgrades and all that stuff. Appreciate you, fam. And I wanted to present you the details of this event because, as always, when I start one of these videos, I don't have the details and I'm ill prepared. There's nothing new about that, Alicia. The sale starts on the 9th for Rouge members, and that runs from the 9th to the 19th, 20% off. VIB, 15% off from the 13th to the 19th, and Insider members, a nice whopping 10% starting on the 15th. I think I voiced this before, but I'm going to say it again. If Sephora held sales biannually for 30%, that'll be more worthwhile. And that's just my opinion. Listen, I'm not good at math. I'm not good at evaluating the analytics of these sales and whatnot. But man, 30% when you're buying a whole lot of thing, I feel just makes more of a difference than having the 20% scatter throughout the year. I think that will compel buyers to plan more ahead, to perhaps make smarter buying decisions than just to see, oh, another sale's coming around, I guess I could get something, rather than it being twice a year and like, okay, this is where we're gonna go big. Maybe not. That's just, you know, what was rolling through my mind. But another one's coming up, and of course, if you're not Rouge, and you have to be Rouge by spending a certain amount to get the 20%, if your VIB is 15 and 10, to be quite frank, if you are 15 or 10% rank, I would wait for the brand sales, because sometimes, well, you know, maybe all the time, when the brands have sales on their own sites, they start at 25%, and sometimes they go up to 30. Unless you're Rouge, 20% is okay, but if you're not, listen, if you want to do 15%, I get it, but 20% is a touch better if you're not Rouge and you don't plan to spend that much money at Sephora to get Rouge status. Then I will wait for the brand sales. Excuse me. So I thought, why don't we begin with the complexion category of things? I believe my channel is a recommendation. Recommendations all scattered throughout. A lot of the products that I will speak about already have a dedicated video, so if you want to get more in depth on those product details, swatches and demos or whatnot, you can head over to that said product, Kinkysweat, the product name, and it should pop up. I haven't been purchasing a lot of my skincare from Sephora. I have a Yes Style haul video coming up that I worked with Yes Style on, so stay tuned for that, because I've just been heavily relying not only on the skincare from Good Molecules, but just skincare from Japanese and Korean brands that I have been loving, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Let's just roll into complexion, and I have to start with what I just uploaded a video for. That is the Fenty Beauty Eaze Drop Blurring Skin Tint. I love this product, and I have been told this product received mixed reviews. I think the most standout negative review, or negative, and negative is not like such a terrible bad word to use. It's just in terms of the user's experience, that it clung on to dry patches, and so that led me to believe maybe this is not super dry skin friendly. I do consider my skin to be normal to dry. I moisturize it with the Good Molecule silicone free priming moisturizer. I haven't experienced any of that, but if you have, let us know down below. I've been having great experiences with this, however, and that's just simply why I recommend it. Do you have to buy it? Absolutely not. If you're looking to purchase it, I am in the shade 10. And I think because since this only had 25 shades, it was much easier for me to find a good shade match, because Fenty and I with the shade matching, we don't have the greatest history, but this one I finally nailed it. Yes, I'm putting on a lot more. I went over this in the video, but lightweight, just so easy to apply, very effortless in terms of not only the application, but the finish and the texture. You could very much just apply it like I am, as you would a moisturizer. And I think it's just a quick way to get your complexion together without it looking heavy with makeup. And you get a good amount of coverage given the formula and given just the lightweight texture of this foundation, or rather, excuse me, tint. And many people had expressed that they wish Fenty came out with a lighter version of their Pro Filter Soft Matte Foundation, even the hydrating one. So I'm happy that Fenty followed suit with that request. I think it's always nice for a brand to have just like a lighter tint type of a foundation formula in their complexion category, and I absolutely love the shade match. I think it's perfect for me. Another foundation that I highly recommend, and it's like another hit or miss, is the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Foundation. I have this in light medium 14, and it kind of reminds me of the Fenty, dare I say. It does have a little more coverage, however, if you want more of like a foundation experience, but definitely one of the more lighter weight formulas on the shelves. This is again in light medium 14. People might gravitate towards the Fenty because, well, both of them are fragrance free. And quite notably for the Fenty, I've been waiting for them to come out with a complexion product that didn't have any fragrance. So I was elated when I saw this one did not. Pat's foundation doesn't have fragrance either, but it does have alcohol. It does not bother me a whole lot, but if you have a bad history with alcohol being in foundation, then stay away. If you don't have a problem with that at all, if you've been using the Pat McGrath foundation and it's time for you to re-up, Pat McGrath actually is running her own sale as we speak, which I think a little bit better, because if you spend more than $150, you get 30 off. Just saying. Ooh, the Fenty with the Pat is a nice combination. Oh, concealer. You know, I might have to get more of Pat's concealer. One of the best concealers I have ever tried. I think what's just stand out about this is an LN14, by the way. It is high coverage, but the finish is so skin-like, and it doesn't grab on to texture. It melts onto the under eyes beautifully. And it just has this diffusing effect that I think hard to come by with heavy duty concealers or ones that yield higher coverage. I just think it melts just beautifully onto the skin, and especially welcome now because of my allergies. My under eyes have just been drabby, like drabby lab. So the high coverage from the Pat, but the diffusing properties also found in the formula, I look so much better. I was looking dead before, fam. Like, dead. I'm saying I have to get another one because these are way past due their suggested shelf life. I haven't experienced any abrupt breakouts or the product doesn't smell bad. So I think I'm still in the safe zone. Maybe. But this is just one of my most favorite concealers of all time. I think you're a little too far. Hold on. That's enough. I'm going to be hopping around a lot from brand to brand, but I definitely have to give a shout out to the Fenty Beauty Powder Foundation. Many of you had said that you were pleased to know that you can use this over the skin tint, and I would highly, wrong word. I would highly recommend that you do. If you want a little more coverage from the tint, and if you have oily skin, want a little more coverage, need it to set, but not the skin to look dry, this is where I feel the Fenty Powder Foundation really shines. And I'm actually going in with color 300. I have 280 as well. 280 is like my complexion, but because I want a little more warmth on the perimeters of the face, I'm going in with 300, and you see how that delivers a little more coverage. My skin doesn't look flat, but it's set, and I just very much enjoy the powder foundation for this reason. I think it's a beautiful formula, very silky smooth. It buffs in easily and plays well with others. You know what I'm saying? For the under eyes, however, I got a couple. Definitely, without a doubt, Pat McGrath's under eye blurring powder. She recently released like this beautiful golden yellow shade that, oh my goodness me, I missed out on that one. That one went real quick. I usually go in with light for my under eyes. Another favorite, of course, is the Charlotte Tilbury Darling, the Airbrush Flawless Finish powder that recently came out in, or maybe was it just that one deeper shade that release? But Pat's under eye blurring powder for me has always just been a favorite. I keep returning to this powder because it's nearly undetectable for under eyes, and I think optimal for those who steer far away from powder, who have dry under eyes, don't have a great time with it. No matter what powder they use, it just grabs onto those drier patches and texture, and it looks insanely obvious. This just melts into the skin, and there's like a little bit of radiance too in the finish that I feel brightens the eye area and just brings it to life. But there's a heavy contender for the under eye blurring powder, and that is the LYS Triple Fix Translucent Setting Powder. This is in Resilience, and I have to say, I really love the texture of this powder. I've used it heavily when I was diving into LYS, when I bought their products and was just trying everything out. This is also great for the under eyes, but also all over the complexion. If you didn't want to go in with the powder foundation, for instance, you just needed something a little more lightweight to set. I love how it sets the skin, but it doesn't just soak up all the moisture that exists on your skin. It definitely leaves behind a nice luminous finish. It sets the makeup, but not in an aggressive way, just the right amount to, again, make sure your makeup is not slipping around, that it stays in place, but the finish is beautiful. And while I was speaking about the foundations, shame on me, LYS's Triple Fix Serum Foundation, if I were to compare this to Pat or even Fenty's Blurring Skin Tint, this is a little more dewy in finish. And when I had tried this for the first time, it was a lot colder. I think the climate definitely influences how some products dry down. I will definitely set this as the weather gets warmer. This is definitely more of like a skin-like finish. It's not going to be drying and delivers light to medium coverage. More coverage, I would say, than Fenty's Blurring Skin Tint. Around the same coverage as Pat, but Pat is a lot more fluid, a lot more liquidy like. This one is a little more creamy, so if you want that texture, then definitely the Triple Fix. No fragrance, which I was so happy to discover. I am in TN3. TN3 definitely gives me like a little bit of warmth. It's definitely warmer than the Fenty or the Pat for me, but I really like the shade. It just makes me look like I got tans, you know? But not too much. Oh my gosh, the cheek products, fam. You know, before I get into that, let's go into the brows, okay? I recently just purchased Charlotte Tilbury's Brow Cheat. She had just released like all these new brow products that added to her brow category in her line. I picked up dark brown. This is the component here in the quintessential rose gold mirrored finish. This pencil is quite unique because it reminds me of the Benefit Goof Proof, but it's smaller. And you know how much I love my Benefit Goof Proof. I mean, I've been using this pencil for ages. I mean, it looks horrid because I keep using it, but this is the Benefit, this is the Charlotte. So if you wanted something smaller than the Goof Proof, but bigger than the Precisely My Brow, then maybe you could take a look at the Charlotte. This is the Precisely My Brow from Benefit. Again, this is the Charlotte. I like the wedge or the smaller wedge because it gives me that in-between space of the Precisely and the Goof Proof. The other product that I tried from Charlotte is what is this? The Micro Precision Tinted Brow Gel. I really love the spoolie on this. The spoolie on this is absolutely perfect. I mean, it gives the right that looks like something else. It gives the right amount of product distribution, but the smaller spoolie, I feel, allows for better control and product placement. Whereas the Goof Proof from Benefit is slightly bigger, and it puts down more product. So if you want more product from your brow volumizing product of choice, then definitely the Goof Proof. And then there's the 24-hour brow setter, which I think I was talking to my friend Patricia. Hey Patricia! She was saying the 24-hour is a lot better than Charlotte's brow gel. So if you were also like myself thinking about the two, then definitely go with the Benefit. This has fantastic hold. This is just a clear brow setting gel. There's no color in it. If you want your brows to stay, you will use this. I thought, why don't I go in with the Charlotte today just so you could see that in action. It has a spoolie on the other side. I purchased the color dark brown. I was going back and forth between, I forgot the brown down from there. Not soft brown because it looked a little too red. I actually like this color. Is dead on, and it lays down product very quickly. I think this might be a little creamier than the Goof Proof. The Goof Proof for me is a little drier, which I prefer because I think that allows for better control. To eliminate the slip, I would recommend that you powder down the brows first, just so the pencil has more grab when you begin to sketch. Another reason why I love the Precisely, because of the smaller pencil, I feel there's more room for error. If, the sketching is out of hand, the mark is not going to be as pronounced as one that comes from the Charlotte Brow Cheat or the Benefit Goof Proof. But I like the pencil. I actually like the color too. But look, that you see my brows now, okay? Let me go into the Goof Proof. Is this gonna be a mistake? I'm gonna have two different brows on, but you know what? This is for the recommendations video, okay? This is what we gotta do. For the Benefit, I have 3.5. 3.5 was one of their newer colors. I like 3.5 because it's a little lighter than Charlotte's dark brown. That's why I was contemplating maybe I should have gotten or purchased, rather, grammar, a lighter Charlotte shade. Yeah, the Benefit is a little drier, just a touch bit more, which I prefer because I just feel I don't have to be as careful. And therefore, my brow application is faster. Oh, I forgot how much I love the Goof Proof. I was praising the Precisely. I love the Precisely too. But this is the difference. This is 3.5 from the Goof Proof, and this is dark brown from Charlotte. I just think this looks a little more natural on me. Like, this looks... I look so intense right now. I prefer the Benefit color, but if you prefer the darker color from Charlotte, maybe pick up the Charlotte. I still prefer Benefit's pencil. I think because just the perfect consistency for me between creamy and dry, better control, like I mentioned, and I just love the construction of the pencil. You know what I'm saying? And let's go through some micro precision. This is going to add even more color, but also a little bit of hold and a little bit of fluffy fluff. Gimmie Brow in number 3. This lays down a lot more product, so I'm being a little more careful here with the application. There we go. And why not? Let's go in with this 24-hour brow set on both sides because I want nice hold for both brows. All right, look at these guys. My gosh. Now we can get into cheeks. My brain got a little bit of from the brow break. Recently, I purchased the Patrick Ta Cream Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo. I purchased She's Sculpted. This is more for like the medium part of the spectrum. It comes with a cream contour and a powder bronzer. Similar concept to Wayne. Except Patrick loves his cream products, as you probably discovered with his blush. I know I kept the box because I should have kept the box for the contour and bronzer duo, but whatever. This is in Do We Know Her, but it's also a cream and powder duo. And unlike what popular technique might lead you to do, Patrick actually applies the... He applies the powder first, but does he do that with the cream contour as well? I think he does the cream contour first because the blush is both blush, but this is contour and bronzer. Taking my Mizuho brush in with the Sculpt shade, if you want to see that quickly as a swatch, and the bronzer shade right next to it. The Sculpt shade is pretty, and the consistency is emollient, but it's not greasy. It's very lightweight, very subdued. I think it gives a nice amount of sculpt without looking heavy, without bringing the complexion down. And I was saying this in my Wayne Goss video, I think contouring shades for the medium part of the spectrum can be very tricky because if it's too gray, then it just looks like you have gray something on the hollows of your cheeks. It doesn't actually create that shadow effect. Whereas you don't want it to be too warm because it's just like, well, that's just bronzer. But to create that nice sculpt effect, I think the tone has to be perfect. And I do believe Patrick kind of nailed the tone of the Sculpt shade for medium types. And the consistency dries down pretty well. I believe it's more of a natural finish. I wouldn't say it's satin, not soft matte either, but it's still very much skin-like when it dries down. Now let's go in with the bronzer shade. The bronzer has like a sheen to it too. It's satin-like in finish. And I just put it over the contour shade. And that just is, my goodness me. Now I know y'all are gonna ask me if I prefer this over the Wayne. I haven't decided yet. I have to use both back to back to get a better idea for sure. I wonder though if Patrick's duo for the deeper part of the spectrum is deeper than Wayne's. That's what I want to know, because if not, then Patrick needs another duo. How are we looking? Are we looking bronzed? And the powder from the duo is nearly undetectable. It's just so pretty. Like, my gosh. If you're not into duos, I actually recommend the Fenty Beauty cream bronzers. They're really easy to use. I think they're more user-friendly than your typical, bronzer cream or contour cream. They don't have a lot of pigment, which is why I think appealing to a lot of makeup users. Because if you think cream products are just too much or you don't feel comfortable using them, then the Cheeks Out bronzers I think are really nice. But for powder bronzers, however, I have to give it to LYS again. Their No Limits matte bronzer. This is in Harmony, the medium shade. I'll swatch it next to Patrick's. One of the best blending powder bronzers I've encountered in quite some time, and I have a lot. Okay, really nice consistency, and I really love the tones offered in the line. I believe 5 bronzer shades. There's something really unique about the bronzer shades. I know I'm putting so much on, but you know, this is for the recommendations video. It's just so easy. It lays on the skin beautifully. It takes no effort at all. It virtually melts. I mean, I didn't have to do a thing, and it's just there. I do love light. I have light as well. Tan is going to give you a bigger dose of bronze from the get. So if you want to be a little more careful with that application, I will use a much more fluffy brush for a lighter application. If you want more, then use a heavier, denser brush. I'm using one that's in between because since I already have some bronzer on from the Patrick Ta, I didn't want this to look too muddy. But the products, though, are laying beautifully. And, you know, this is why I'm presenting these as favorites, because I have experimented with layering different products from my favorite lines. And this is what ends up happening. I mean, everything just works so beautifully together. For the cream blush, oh my gosh. 2021... with the cream blush, I mean, it's like non-stop. Surat Beauty just came out with the Artistique liquid blush. I rave and still do about the LYS cream blush. This is Inspire, and of course what I just showed from Patrick Ta, the cream blush and powder duos. Love that as well. But most recently, I had to give it to the Melt. The Melt Cosmetics blushes really just... I love Honey Thief. Honey Thief is beautiful. But my favorite one out of all of them has to be Sandy Cheeks. Sandy Cheeks is one of the most unique shades I have ever encountered in a cream blush. It is just phenomenally like this burnt peach. I mean, just the name. Burnt peach. And Honey Thief, I'll quickly show you again. I have swatches of all of these if you want to check it out. Honey Thief is more of like a coral moment, which I like. But this shade, fam, is unstoppable. Unstoppable. My other favorite, like I mentioned before, is the LYS. The LYS has a little more creaminess to it. I don't know if you can detect that. See how it's just more pigmented, has a little more grip to it also, but because of that, it still blends easily. Don't get me wrong, but the Melt Cosmetic ones has a little more slip, and I think a little easier to blend because of that. But keep in mind, because of that formulation, it's not going to have as much pigment. So if you're on the deeper part of the spectrum, I do believe you have more options with LYS than you do with Melt. Melt, in its defense, sure, has Polished. It also has Daydreamer. But Daydreamer is more of like this cinnamon type of a gig. If you want something like a coral and you're deeper in skin tone, I think, you know, that's where LYS shines. So let's put LYS on one side and the Melt on the other. Going in with my beloved Chikuhoro PF4. Oh my gosh. I always underestimate the LYS blush. Tisha also recommended that you could under blush paint, meaning you could put this on first and then foundation over it. Like the triple fix will be perfect because it is light to medium coverage. Or you could apply this first and the Fenty or even the Pat McGrath. Look at that. Look how much coverage. Oh my gosh. Whatever leftover foundation I have from the brush, I'm just patting it down. And that's a good way also to take down a little bit of the color. Sandy Cheeks, I'm going in with my fingers because I want more bang for my buck. I don't want the brush to take up product. So you just see this very lighter in consistency, suitable for those who shy away from cream products, who feel when they apply them, they're out of luck. Another advantage, I should say, is that the LYS is fragrance free and Melt has like this kind of vanilla icing thing to it. But isn't that just beautiful? And how it lays down on everything we applied. It does not disrupt the makeup at all. I love Inspire. I do. I raved about the shade when not only doing the brand video, but also going over it in the monthly favorites video. The LYS Speak Love lip oil, because my lips are so dry. And Golden Hour. Golden Hour is like the best. This has a little bit more sheen to it. So appropriate for like a blush topper moment. You could even place it higher if you want more of a subdued highlight to the skin. Look at that. Amazing. I felt there was another highlighter that I have been heavily using. It was the Pat McGrath, but I don't think the Pat McGrath Divine Rose highlighter is currently available on Sephora right now. The Westman Atelier, hold on. I knew I was forgetting something. Now, the Westman Atelier has, you know, they push the whole like safe ingredient thing and la la la. But I will say, from using this a lot, the products in terms of what my favorites are, I do really like the Vital Skin foundation stick. It's just an easy way to get the makeup on, you know, very nice creamy consistency, melts into the skin. It does have coconut oil in it, so if you're not great with that, I would skip it. I also do like the contour stick. I have it both in truffle and biscuit. This is in truffle. I think it's a lovely color. They do need, I think, like 2 more after this to cater to the deeper side of the spectrum. But the consistency, I think, makes it very easy to blend into the skin, and it just leaves behind a natural finish. The blush sticks, I do think one of the highlights of the line and a lot of people's favorites. This is in the shade Dou Dou. This is more of like a rose type of a shade, and next to the ones we just applied, a little more plummy in finish. I do love this for spring. I tend to lean towards these types of shades for like fall, winter, and definitely shades like Sandy Cheeks and Inspired more for now and summer. But this is a beautiful shade. I mean, you cannot go wrong with anything rose tone like. I think it's multi-seasonal. You could definitely wear it whenever you want. And I haven't tried the other shades. Maybe I might get them now. Maybe. But my one standout product, well, I really love the Fully Loaded highlighter. This one here in Peau de Pêche. If there was one shade you had to get, Peau de Pêche is it. If I could freaking find it. Hold on. This is one of their more expensive items. Ooh. This is so difficult to open, my God. I think this is like $75. Very creamy in consistency, but the shine is amazing. This is meant to be applied either on its own or under blush, so it can have that glass-like effect when you layer the blush on top. You could also use your fingers to apply it either more on the tops of the cheeks here, like a topper, but look at that. I mean, it's unbelievable. Beautifully shiny, has lovely impact. But the second favorite, and something that I've been using a lot and traveling with a lot when I'm going, to Bay's house, that's pretty much all I'm doing right now, is the lit up stick in Nectar. Nectar is more low-key than Peau de Pêche, and as you see here, it has more of like a glass-like effect on the skin. So I think a lot less heavy duty if you're not really crazy about what Fully Loaded is doing. If maybe you want something less than Golden Hour from Melt, I've been using the heck out of Nectar, and I almost forgot to mention it, shame on me, but I really love this one out of the one that's like more holographic. And the Brulee is beautiful. It's more of a bronze, and that I apply a little lower on the cheeks, or sometimes I just wear that as like a luminous cream blush. But Nectar, please. Let me put it on the other side so you can see it with Golden Hour. This is the better side to showcase highlight when I'm in front of this window. It melts into the skin. It's just seamless in application. And again, plays well with others. You could layer this on top of whatever you like. If you wanted to get crazy, like you know how I like to do, you could even layer a powder highlighter over Nectar. And I think this formula just serves as a nice plush setup for your favorite powder foundation, for your favorite powder highlighter, because sometimes if you want that extra boost of highlight, you gotta layer it, you gotta mix it up, you know what I'm saying? I'm so all over the place. Hold on. I know we already spoke about foundations, but I feel when the year started, I've accumulated a lot. In addition to the Westman Atelier stick, I have to give it up to the Huda Beauty stick. This stick caught me by surprise. When I was going between Westman Atelier and Huda, I definitely prefer Huda because I think it's better lasting power. It's more of a soft matte finish, but it's not drying. If you thought the Westman Atelier was just too emollient and you weren't too crazy about the ingredients, them containing coconut oil, then I would go with Huda stick. This is in Butter Pecan, and I really do think, this color works for me. It definitely leans a little warm, but with some adjusting, it's totally fine. Blew me out of the water. I was not expecting this foundation stick to perform as good as I expected. I love the texture, and I love sticks. They're just easy. You slap them on, you blend, and you're done. Out of all the foundations, it's hard to pick my favorite because they all serve a different purpose. But I think I've been nailing the foundations since January. I held off a lot before because I felt like I had a lot of foundation to go through. But the ones that I picked up, I really like. I feel like I'm forgetting something. If I am, what are you gonna do? I will slap on a little bit of Natasha Denona's Love Cheek Duo. The highlight in here, I do prefer Pat's formula a little bit more because I think it's smoother. Natasha Denona has a little more going on in the formula. So, you know, that's my only critique. The colors are similar, but I think Pat is more layer friendly. So I'm going to take it right over Nectar. See what I'm saying? Nectar is like the best when it comes to either you applying it by itself or using it as a highlighter booster, okay? I think that should be it for the cheek products for now. Who knows what the future will hold, but I gotta go into eyes or else we're gonna be here forever. There are plenty of eyeshadow palettes I would recommend if I have to start with Mother herself, and I would go with her sale. I don't know if her sale will still be going on when the Sephora sale starts. However, Divine Rose 2 or Midnight Sun. Subversive, yes, I know, shame on me. Subversive is like my ex that I still keep in contact with. Subversive for me was my favorite because of, you know, Gigabyte and Night Creature. Those shades are so iconic within the Pat McGrath portfolio. But when Midnight Sun came along, my heart was just... And then Divine Rose 2, if you want something more monochromatic with the peaches and the golds and the rose tone shades, definitely. Is Celestial Divinity still available? Hold on. It is not, but I would actually recommend that palette as well. Natasha Denona Circo Loco. Like, this palette is... It's just so much fun. I think one of Natasha's most daring presentations of color. It's genius in terms of how the shades are arranged, the shades that were chosen to be included in this palette. I have a video with the looks and I have a live. You know, if you want to get more into it, then definitely take a look. Before we go into the eyeshadow palette of choice for today's demo, I also want to mention Vizier. This is their new Autumn Dew format, where it's a little bigger than their dark edit, but it still has 12 shades. This is in Mink Set, which people actually were comparing to, well, I just gave away my little secret there. I'm going to use a bronze palette for today's demo, but people were comparing Mink Set to bronze because it is a very similar in terms of the color story here. I would say right off the bat, Natasha Denona is a little more punchy. There are just a lot more textures that have like that razzle dazzle going on, and Vizier is a lot more low key. Any of their pro palettes, but you know, I have to say, I'm mentioning Vizier because, you know, they're one of my favorite brands and they're offered at Sephora. I would wait for the Muse Beauty Pro sale, you know, when they have that twice a year, because not only do you get sales, but you get like bonus items depending on what bundle you decide to buy. If you buy like 2 Autumn Dews, you get like a free Eaze brush. And if you're a makeup pro, you get a discount off Vizier anyway year round. So, all right, eyes are prime. Let's go into bronze. Definitely one of my favorite Natasha Denona palettes, besides Biba. And I also love Glam. For sure. Triochrome is fun. I like Circo better. The bronze palette though, I mean, basic AF, but there's something about these tones, man. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Definitely going in with Refer. Their restock will be happening in May, so keep an eye out for that. Ooh, what do I want to do? I haven't used this in such a long time. I'm gonna go in with Ridge because I love, you know, this mustard moment. That was number 15. I wanted to go back in with 27, but it was in my travel case. 27 is much more fluffy. It's going to move the product a little bit more than the 15. And Ridge, you know, Ridge gives it to you fast, man. And let's do a suntan on this eye. How about that? Ooh, suntan. Right away do we see the tan. I gotta wash my little 27. It got flat, so I need to kind of rejudge it. Now we could go in with 15. Let's see here. I think I want to go in with Beach, maybe on the very edges of Ridge on this side, and then Sundown on the edges of Suntan for this side. Maybe have it more pronounced here on the inner part of the eye. I think I'm going to go in right away with... I don't know what's happening. Number 1 with Magma. I think I'm going to do a little bracket, tapping Magma on the inner and outer parts here of the lid. Ooh, you know what? I think I gotta do Deep Dive. Deep Dive is so pretty. It's so unexpected. I think just one of my most favorite moments in this palette. It's not a plum, it's like an eggplant. But the way it meshes with these more terracotta burnt tones is absolutely perfect. Bringing it pretty far in as I want to layer rhodium on top. It's not a lavender, but it's like a silvery plum type of a moment. Number 14 still has something on it. How dare you? Rhodium with the finger right on everything. See what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? Palladium, I think, as our standout inner corner moment, is like a pinky bronze, but I think it pairs so well with rhodium. High degree, this red metallic, connecting palladium and Deep Dive. Going back for one more blend, making sure the blur is present. I gotta finish this side. What am I doing? I think I'm gonna do Bliss. It has like a very light lime flip within the pink base. I think it actually quite beautiful. Suntan, pulling it through the lower lash line. I actually want to make this quite smoky. A little bit of magma here on the outer part, connecting to what we have on the top, on the outer part of the lid. Alloy, let's see here. We'll do alloy on the inner part. It's a little too maybe coppery for what I need inner corner moment wise, but it works, it's fine. Man, I miss the bronze palette. I gotta use you more often. Shame on me. For eyelash curlers, I will either go with the Shiseido or the Surratt. They both have different angles. I think the Surratt one is more flat. I love both. Shiseido is always my, holy grail favorite because I've been using it for years. Where is my mirror? Excuse me. But I do believe, if I go back and forth, the Surratt, I feel, is a little easier to use. I think the angle makes it easier to use. Whereas the Shiseido is more upright maybe, and that's why it feels a little more scary if you haven't used an eyelash curler before. And if you haven't participated in the Pat McGrath sale yet, I will definitely recommend her Dark Star mascara for the top and the Surratt Noir lash tint for the bottom. Now, is that a lot to use two different mascaras? Absolutely. Is that what I do? Absolutely. Definitely up to you with what you choose to do, but the Dark Star does transfer on my bottom lashes. A lot of mascara does. It's rare that I found one that doesn't, but the Noir still does, but it's a little more lightweight. Therefore, it's not going to have as much transfer as the Dark Star. But I just love what Dark Star does to my top lashes. I mean, va-va-voom. Noir lash tint. And I think if you haven't even shopped on Surratt's page, they offer 25% off for first-time shoppers. That's not bad. So if you're not Rouge and you're thinking about Surratt anything, and you haven't shopped from Surratt's online, ooh, we're looking good. Okay, lips. Again, if you haven't yet participated in Pat's sale, her Liquid Lust lips, I think, are phenomenal. For a liquid lip to feel this comfortable is hard to come by. And I also very much appreciate the doe foot applicator. It's a triangular and tilted and makes it really easy to apply on the lips. Natasha Denona's I Need a Nude lip liner, really creamy in consistency, and the shades are really vast in the nude category. The I Need a Nude lipstick from Natasha. This is Inoa, which I have to, oh my gosh, I guess get another one. I haven't used this in quite a while. I don't know where people are with Gucci. I never know if I should mention them, if they have been forgiven, if people still mad at them, if you forgot about whatever. Petty Beige is definitely One of the most beautiful beiges I have ever used and is still one of my favorites. And the lipstick component itself is exquisite. Simply and utterly. Question is though, what shall we put on? Here, why don't we just do a little bit of Dana and I'll go with the penny beige because I haven't gone in with this in quite some time. Oh! Here's a finished look using most of my recommendations here that I presented in this video. I hope this helped you in deciding what you're gonna skip, what you're gonna get, if you're just gonna wait for a brand sale instead. It was so tough to narrow down, you know, my most recent favorites and things that I feel you should keep an eye on if you are going to actively participate in the sale. I've been really loving my most recent purchases, and whenever I have an opportunity to share my thoughts on them still, I take it, you know, even though this is a recommendations video. Again, you definitely don't have to buy anything. If you're just here to hang out, hey, thank you for doing so. Let me know if you're going to participate in Sephora's spring event sale, if you're going to wait for another sale, what you're going to get, what you're not going to get. I'll see you down in the comments below. And until then, fam, that is alright. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I will see you in here again with another review tutorial recommendations, extravaganza, monthly favorites, or brunch time chit chat. Take care, and I will see you again soon.